Cassie, say more.
That's my mom. And this is her family.
Going up to South Sullivan cutoff here, turn off.
This is
That's Sullivan Road, yeah. The I-90, we're gonna go under Sullivan. That takes us up to Sprague.
We're on our way to Montana.
Right.
As a kid, I grew up in a small town called Libby, Montana. Every day, living there was a constant reminder of how beautiful this world actually can be. With the Kootenai River right out my back door, on a 64-acre farm, it was a perfect way for a kid to grow up. However, I've always been drawn to Spokane, like the gravitational orbit of the moon to the earth. It never occurred to me then why, but now I see that my family has such a deep and rich history here. That being here makes me feel connected. It wasn't always that way. I always had an emptiness not knowing my mom's side of the family. I feel a lot of it, I can only assume, had to do with my mother not wanting those deep connections to Spokane and her family anymore. But I couldn't stand being
Cassie,
disconnected.
where you going? Where you going? Huh? Cassie, where you going, sweet pea?
And this is my family's story.
This is the Dhaenens farm. Mary Ann's grandma and grandpa lived here. This is the house where the grandparents lived, and the barn. All this corn.
15 acres.
15 acres of corn.
Well, it's 15 whole acres. I mean, that's
Beautiful.
This is from the southeast corner.
Southeast corner of the property. Those are raspberries. This house.
The story begins with my great-great-grandfather Gentile Dhaenens arriving in Spokane in 1912 with his wife, Leontine, and their 5 children, Hazel, Norbert, Florine, Julius, and Clementine. They responded to a single ad in a Detroit catalog that promised great opportunities and prosperous fruit trees. However, upon arrival, they found themselves with immature fruit trees and a small barn. This didn't stop Gentile. He and Ace tilled the land between the trees and planted an abundance of fruits and vegetables, which they later sold at fruit stands or the local market. Using the many rocks from the field, they were able to build the foundation on which the house still stands today. Ace later took over the farm in the 1930s, eventually having 7 children of his own.
And the pump was way down there, 150 feet down.
Oh, yeah?
And Dad had to go down in that thing to work on it and whatnot. He worked for the irrigation.
Uh-huh.
So they named the pump house after it.
That was nice.
A.J. Ace Dhaenens served on the board from 1940 until 1945, which does not really stand out until you realize that he resigned from the board to accept the job as water superintendent for Vera and held that position for 20 years until his retirement in 1965. Ace led the district through the conversion to surface-mounted vertical turbine pumps in the early 50s.
New Zealand?
Yeah. So,
Nice.
like, what was his personality like?
Oh, he was great. He
He
was
was sweet.
Feisty.
Mellow. Always had a cigar in his mouth.
always
I
mental, always
remember.
gentle. He was the candy man.
Yep, the candy man.
Yeah.
Yeah, get done after lunch or something like that. And about an hour later, he says, "Come see me." Go to there where the counter is, where the dishes against before you go in the pantry. He'd always have 2 or 3 dishes of candy there, and he'd get out, pick a couple. I get pick another one. You know?
How about that? So every time I'd go out there with him, maybe we'd get out there as kids and stuff. As time went on, I'd walk in the door, and he'd come into the kitchen, and let's arm wrestle. And we had to arm wrestle every time I got
Yeah.
out there. And until I think I was a senior, was about the only time I couldn't, or that he couldn't take me when I was a senior. And plus, he was a lot older. Other than that, and he'd just sit there and play with it. He'd just hold it, and he'd start reaching out, try to tickle you in the armpit, and just stand there.
Oh, boy, she's always busy. She's with all the kids and stuff. She had to cook all the
She
time.
was the cooker, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And breakfast, they had everything there you can think of.
Like, was she pretty sweet too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she's sweet. Sometimes she'd act a little stern, but like a lot of times you thought that was a little facade going on or something. Just she had to be the what do you call the captain in the family because Grandpa was too easy. She always accused Grandpa having coffee cans or tomato cans with lids on them and stuff buried around the yard. They wanted to get somebody to come out there with a metal detector and see if they could find it.
So do you remember
No.
the old spruce tree out the window, the kitchen window that they used to wrap the lights in?
Yeah. Had the big star on the top.
Because Dad worked for.
No, Dad got it after that. Grandpa didn't want to do it no
So
more.
he did signs. So he was able to bring
Yeah.
the boom truck out.
Well,
like they
the
do
Baldwin
sets-
signs-
Baldwin signs, yeah. and
signs
you take
display.
the lift truck and go up to the top. That's how they do it. Somebody'd walk around it. And you run the light.
Christmas Day, always going back there, and we'd go up every Christmas and just walking in and everybody in there and all the cooking and going in the back room by the fireplace where the Christmas tree was.
Nativity set on the floor there by the
Piano,
fireplace.
Yeah. It was just so cool.
Grandma's piano. Taught me how to use that hand cultivator, in my ass. Geez, had about 12 horse on it and drag you up and down the damn thing. But I got to do all the weeding, the harrowing, the cultivating up between the strawberries and stuff. He had me started on that first, and then later on he tried me out in the corn, but the thing he had it planted so close together, a lot of times they clipped some of the stalks. He said, "Whoa, we'll give up on that one." Then he gave me the hand one on a wheel.
Remember the
ahead.
4th of July when they did
Oh,
that
yeah.
big pig roast?
Yeah.
That was so fun. Yeah.
Uncle
I mean, I
Tommy'd
was
bring his
probably
own spit
10 years
behind his
old,
truck
yeah.
and
You can always count
Cook it
on
and-
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and 4th of July. We'd always be meeting out there for a big get-together.
Yeah.
And you get everybody out there. I swear to God, it must have been 50 or 60 people out there.
Oh,
total.
Always in the pantry, tons
Yeah.
of Fresca.
I remember when Grandma had to cook turkey. She had the double oven, had to do 2 turkeys.
Yeah.
Each of them 30 pounds.
Yeah.
They get the biggest ones they could find. I think one year she got a 40-pounder.
And they're always
That
playing
barely fit.
cards afterwards.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
Always cards.
Pinochle.
yeah.
Never interrupt.
And the day that Grandpa died, I went up and saw him in the hospital at Valley General. And he was up eating apple pie. Imagine
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later, he passed on. What a way to go. Just not feeling good that day. And
Yeah, he
checked
only been in the
morning,
hospital, I think, for a week is all.
If that, yeah. Grandma came out in like a little nightie with her legs sticking out, and halfway out the door, and came out, and we were like, "Grandma, what are you doing?" And then, and then she passed away 6 months later, of broken heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for being here to leave
Yeah.
live without him.
Even though I never had the chance to meet my great-grandparents, the love they poured into our family echoes through the stories shared by those who knew them. Their love seems to transcend time, embracing each of us with warmth and acceptance, as if we've always been a cherished part of their legacy. It's a beautiful feeling to be enveloped in that love that generations before us have left behind, knowing that they would have welcomed us with open arms and hearts overflowing with affection.